pray, Rob.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this time as we come together to do episode number 2 with my daughter. I pray that we, whatever said here, Father, you would use to help that person, help anybody, help us. We love you. We thank you for all the blessings that we have. We thank you for the gift of sobriety today and the gift of our Lord today. It's in Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's go to work.
Welcome back to Recovery Unfiltered. It's Rob and Larry in your ear again. We don't need letters before or after our names. Just two drunks with a lot on our brains. Sit back, relax, let us carry the load.
Sometimes I listen to this when I'm driving. When I'm getting ready to go work out, I go to the gym. Get woo!
Do you ever listen to the whole song?
I've never listened to the whole song. Just the...
That is, I don't know. Let's, hold on a second. Let me see if we can get that up. I have never played it on here before, but I've sent it to you to play the whole thing. But the whole thing's pretty good. The second chorus to it is my favorite part.
Well, send it to me again. I'll do my workout on Monday.
Let me see if I can find it here in a minute. But the second chorus to that is by far the second part, the best one. But anyways, hi, Rob. Welcome back.
What's up, kid?
We're here with your daughter, Emily.
Yes, we are.
And if I cry in this one, I'm going to punch both of you and kick both of you out. You know what?
You promise?
No, I ain't doing it because that one was so much fun, Emily, and I appreciate you coming back and sitting with us. You know, like I said, when it comes to the father-daughter aspect, it's just so tender for me, and because there is just something special about a daughter and the father. I look at when I see, if you go back and you hear the story, and I'm a little better than I was earlier, but if you hear the story that we talked about, and when I see that little person that is a female is struggling to get that male bond, man, it just hurts, right? It just hurts to see it.
Because you know how important that is.
Yes.
Having a father. I mean, and at different ages, a father and a 5-year-old daughter, the needs of that daughter is different than a 25-year-old daughter and a father. There's still needs.
And I see
the relationship, and mother's the same too.
And I know what I gave up for the period of time. You know, Miranda was older when my alcoholism got bad. McKenna was, she was in it. She watched a lot of it, but you know, she was one of my biggest supporters, not to drinking, but she was constantly trying to help her dad. And it was, you know, anyways, that father-daughter bond is an amazing thing. And I'm not saying that the father-son isn't, but here, you know, and people always, you know, I coach high school football.
You can't compare it.
I can't, but I can to a sense. You know, I coach high school football for 16 years, 17 years. And so I have sons all over the place. I still have kids call me coach, and I'll be going down the grocery aisle and I'm like, hey, coach. And, you know, I have just a ton of sons. But I always say this, God gave me what I could handle, because I firmly believe if I would have had a son, I'd have killed him, because I just demand so much more out of a boy, you know, and growing up and coaching those kids all those years. I wasn't just there trying to coach coaching them football. I was trying to give life lessons. And the further I got, and we talked about this a while back, and the reason why I backed out of coaching and got away from it is when I saw just the kids, the boys were no longer even interested in anything except for just dicking off. They didn't want to have life knowledge. They didn't want
different generation.
I just had to get out of it. And I just there's something different about raising a boy than over a girl. There's just something different.
Night and day.
Yeah, I don't.
And where I find my daughter's at right now, in my mind, she's at a crossroads. From what I see, and I'm really trying to. And we want you, and I need to.
And shit.
But no, I need to.
You can't do shit. You can. Yeah. When she asks, you can.
But that for me, that's where I got to pull back. And if she's going to fall, I got to let her fall.
Yep.
And let her make those mistakes.
And that's hard.
Yeah, it's just,
That
dude, and
is
it's
hard.
super hard because
That is.
you can't pull love. I mean, I can pull everything back, but I can't pull the love back because I want my daughter to succeed. I know she will.
And here's the other thing.
And those maybe lessons that she needs to learn, and I need to just let that fucking shit happen.
Here's the other thing you can't pull. You can't pull the ripcord so they have a softer landing.
No, and that's what we've done. We've done that too much,
Yes.
you know. And it's time just to let.
Yeah, I mean it's hard, and for me to watch, to watch things happen, and you see the outcome of where it's going, but you got to keep your damn mouth shut because if you try to step into it, you're not going to get a good result.
And I think about the other female that was in my life, Abigail, and she died.
She gave you a lot of eggs, though.
Yeah.
Hey, so yesterday in our meeting, we like to have a guest and then we come back with a topic. And, this is going to be fun with Emily. She's coming from the outside and Rob and I are going to be the inside. This is a topic that came up in the meeting yesterday that Scott brought up. And it's honestly something that we've never talked about. Quite honestly, I think it's such a simple part of the program that we skip over it a lot. I don't think it takes as much of a front seat.
Haven't we read this on the podcast? I believe I've read excerpts of this, of that page.
We have read it. We have read it. But what we're going to talk about is acceptance from page 417. And, and in there it says acceptance was the key to all of our answers.
Acceptance was the answer to all my problems. When I could accept my alcoholism, I could,
Yeah, right. So that was brought up yesterday, and the topic was there, and there was some great stuff that was said. And one of my share in that thing, and I truly believe this, people were talking about accepting, accepting the way things are, accepting this, accepting that. But for me, in the last 3 or 4 months that, I've been going through a lot of stuff, personal stuff, and trying to battle through that. And what really hit me yesterday in that meeting when I was listening to other people is the world is what it is. What I'm still struggling to accept is me and the way I am. I'm just who I am. And we talked the prior week about character flaws and bad habits and this and that. And this all kind of wrapped it back around when, I am who I am. Today, Pat said it very well. We don't get rid of our character flaws. They're just on a shelf back behind us. We turn them over to God, and we turn them over, but
we can take them back anytime we want.
We can take them back anytime we want. Even though we say, here, God, take these from us, we have a temporary relief from those things. As long as we let go of them, like Pat said too, there's claw marks on every one of those character flaws. And because we don't want to let them go. Some of those character flaws make up who I am.
Well, we didn't see them as character defects sometimes.
I still don't on some of mine.
We're talking about fear, guilt, shame, remorse,
controlling.
Yeah,
controlling is my biggest one. I want to control everything around me. But anyways, going back to the topic, that topic is, like I said, it just hit me yesterday. It's like, well, I haven't even learned to accept myself. So how the fuck am I going to accept things around me if I can't look past the end of my own nose to accept, if I keep looking past my nose and not looking inwardly and accepting myself? And then I've listened to your dad say this many times. Your dad has said, acceptance is only a tool. God's the answer.
Well, on page 417, it says acceptance. The author writes, acceptance was the answer to all my problems today. When I could accept my alcoholism, then I could do something. When I could accept my wife as she was, I could do something. For me, God is the answer to all my problems today. Acceptance is a magnificent tool that I can use. And it is, because every problem is a nut, and there's a wrench for those. And we're in there. The book talks about our spiritual kit of, our kit of spiritual tools that we're given. Right. And as we grow and as we mature, we put more tools in that toolbox. And we got to know, and it's great to have them, but if you don't know when to pull them out and use them, acceptance is a fantastic tool. And it's usually one that we start with. All right, here's a situation. The Serenity Prayer that we pray all the time. God grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, which ties right into this. Okay, here's something. I'm faced with something. I need to accept it as it is, not accept it as I want it to be, because here it is. This is what it is. Once you get past that, okay, now that's the tool. Put that tool down. Now, have the courage to change it. Does it need to change? And if it does need to change, am I the one that needs to make that change? And that's where the wisdom comes in. But But the beautiful part about that prayer, the most important part about that prayer, the first 3 words, God grant me, which means wisdom, courage, and serenity don't emanate from old Rob. It's an outside thing. It's an inside job that needs to get done by God. But I just can't, I can't pull up myself by my bootstraps and get serenity, courage, and wisdom. They don't come from me. They come from him. And that humility comes from me.
In order for us to receive that from him, we have to let go of us.
Yeah.
We have to let go of us.
And that's tough. And like Pat, the way I say it is, I mean, anything when I was in my alcoholism, the only time I ever let go of anything was just to get a better grip on it, you know.
Yeah, and that instilled, like I said, a lot of thought processing for me, and of course I putting notes together. There's a lot of different things that brought up. So acceptance does not forgive sins. Acceptance does not restore marriages. Acceptance does not remove fear. Acceptance does not transform hearts. God does, you know. And those are the key things for us. So that also goes back to what I said. I have to accept that I had sinned. Have to accept that and give that over to God. I have to accept all these things and give it over to him and not hold on to it. Because if we hold on to those things inside of us create resentments. Those resentments, and when I say that, I'm talking about resentments at myself. Mm-hmm. So that's where that whole inwardly thing that I was talking about yesterday, and if you go back to that other episode, I said I was judging people on the outside, right? I just kept judging. And when I was judging other people to the outside, I was holding inside myself, that was me. I'm like that. I don't want to be like inwardly. I don't want to be like that inwardly, but I was being like that. So in order for me to change those things about me, I have to accept who I am first.
And see, and acceptance always has a bad connotation in the rooms of AA, which for me, it didn't.
What do you mean? Explain that. What do you?
Well, you got to just accept it. Accept what? Well, this person, place, thing being exactly what they are, which for me, I was having a hard time accepting the blessings that came, God's grace that came from when I first got sober, God's grace, God's mercy, all these things, well, shit, I know what my 4-step looks like. I don't deserve any of these things. Where's the punishment going to come? When is that shoe going to drop? So I would hold on to those things very loosely and just, no, I don't deserve these, and push away. Because if I felt if I did, then finally when the punishment came for all that list of shit, right, it was going to be even more severe. So fuck, I don't want these things. I don't deserve them. I just had my head down for 3 years, just going to meetings and, you know, trying to be the best dad, father I could be that day. And, you know, because I didn't deserve them, so I wouldn't accept them.
Why do we as alcoholics, and I mean, we talked about this yesterday, but why do we as alcoholics, I should say me, probably should use more general terms as me, why do we feel like that other shoe's going to drop?
That was just my nature. For me, that was my nature. I was just waiting because of my worldview at the time. Good people get good things. Bad people get bad things. If you do wrong, you get this. If you do good, you get this, which is bullshit.
Sorry. You know, that was just a side question. I heard that it came up yesterday. I heard somebody say that. I don't deserve the good things that are coming to me. And I listened to that and I'm like, why? You know, why do we feel that way? It always just baffles me. That could be a whole other topic as to why we feel that way. I know why I do. Because every good thing that ever happened to me as a kid got ripped away from me, right? So I don't ever.
Well, growing up as a kid, for me, I mean, I was judging my insides by your outsides, and everybody else who wears a mask, they look put together. Not like, fuck, I'm not put together, so I got to pretend. So I would have to. I didn't know you guys were, or if you were, but I had to pretend to be something other,
right,
for different groups, and I continued that mask, and alcohol made it easier to wear those masks and to be something other.
Acceptance opens the door. Acceptance says, this is where I am. God says, now let me change you. Acceptance is the doorway. God is the one who walks through it.
Walks us through it. Yeah. So that's, you know, and all is going, once again, it's going back to what are we willing to accept to move? Yeah. Sorry. What are we willing to accept to allow that to happen? And I just keep going back to, I mean, if I'm not accepting myself, I can't accept you for the way you are. You know, I heard somebody say in a meeting one time, and I screw this up every time I say it. In fact, I just asked him to be on the podcast, so hopefully we get him. And he says, if I expect you to love me, I have to love you for the way you are. You know, and that's when I heard that said, I'm like, well, I don't like that person over there. But do you love him?
I have to love them.
It's a different, like and love are different. You know, love is an action word. You see it. It's tangible. You should be able to feel it in how you treat them. Like is totally different. Yeah, I don't like everybody in AA, but I love them and I must treat them that way. When Jesus says, love thy neighbor, he's not telling you, you know, to have these warm, fuzzy feelings towards the person living next to you. He's telling you to treat them a certain way, and it needs to be visible, whether you like them or not.
Right.
So that's why in AA, what bothered me, and this is what Jay told me, because you hear, hey, listen, I'll love you till you learn to love yourself. Fuck off. I'll love you, you selfish prick, till you learn to love another human being. Because all you've ever loved, maybe self-righteously, maybe self-destructively, was you. Because you got your first attention. I'm not much, but I'm all I think about sometimes. I'm who I thought about first. Then once my needs are met, then I'll help you maybe. But that's what Jay told me. He goes, no, I'll learn to love you till you learn to love someone else.
When you just brought up a good question for me. When was the first time you felt that you were dropping your selfishness to help another person? How soon into your recovery do you?
Max, 7 months.
Okay.
7 months, Max. There's heroes, Max. I love Max. He's the one that lives here. Good kid. I'm down to Max is in his fucking 30s getting married.
That's crazy.
She's pregnant.
I was
and Max was,
when I met Max.
Max was not an alcoholic either. He was young, closer to my, you know, but he was just old enough, and he'd come over and we'd carve pumpkins together. But he asked me to be a sponsor, and I said, no. I went to Jay, and I said, I'm only 7 months sober, and this young, he goes, and Jay said, rubbish. Rubbish. You know how Jay is. Oh, yeah. He said, you've had a spiritual awakening as a result of your steps. You help him. So I did, and I took that on. And then for no other reason, but I was scared. I didn't, you know, he says, you don't get him sober, you don't get him drunk. You just share your experience, strength, and hope, and be what he needs you to be.
I think the best I've ever heard of that is, I can't sponsor. I've only been sober 3 months. Well, tell them how you've been sober for 3 months.
Johnny.
I love that.
Are you helping? Are you working with others, Johnny? Yeah. I've only been sober for 24 days. Well, tell them how you got 24 days, which is, you know, that's, get out of yourself is the goal.
Oh, for sure.
Get out of yourself.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then when you pour yourself into someone else, who fills you up? God, the greatest gift. So what does acceptance mean to you in your life? Is that a tool? Or do you see that? What is it? What does that mean to you?
Because when you were talking about it, I was thinking about it. Like, I feel like a lot of the issues we see is people feel acceptance is the last step, and acceptance is actually the first step. Once you accept something, the work is not done. The work is just beginning. Mm-hmm. Because then you determine, okay, does something need to be changed because of this? Accepting is just the first step. You know, a lot of people, you know, you got to love me the way I am, but it's. I accept you the way you are, but if I don't like the way you treat other people, if I see that you are unkind to other people, if I see that, you know, I don't feel like our morals don't match, I don't feel like you're a good person, I can accept the way you are. But now my actions, because I don't want to be around people who are unkind,
exactly. I
take myself away from you.
Mm-hmm.
I think acceptance informs us of where we need to go next.
All right. That's kind of the next one of the difference. Acceptance says I am an alcoholic. God says I can recover. Acceptance says I have pain. God says I will walk you through it. Acceptance says I have defects. God says let me remove them. You know, that last part right there that says I have defects, God says let me remove them. That's the part that I've been struggling with the most.
Can I ask a question?
Lay it down.
Why is it let me remove them and not let me reshape them? Because for myself,
it's a good question.
Well, like when we've shared that, I've shared that. There's some of the character defects when I was looking at and doing my step work, I was like, God's certainly going to remove this fucker root and branch. Right. He's probably going to let me keep this one. You know, when you do 7-step prayer, and some of that I thought he was going to take away, he didn't. He showed me how to use them for good purposes. He showed me how to use them constructively. Because, so yeah, it's a good point.
Because you were kind of talking about that, or you were kind of talking about that earlier, and almost like them being on a shelf. And I've never felt that my character defects gone anywhere. Because of course I have a different perspective, because I don't come to my character defects from the perspective of being an alcoholic, but just trying to be a better person. You know, I know I'm a perfectionist, and I know I'm a procrastinator, and I know that my poor time management affects other people. So it's like I know I can't get rid of it. So we got to just do something else with it. It's always going to be there, but it doesn't have to be what it is, the way it is right now.
I think we talked about that a lot on last week's episodes, going back and forth between the character flaws and the habits.
Bad
right?
habits, yeah.
So some of your stuff that you're talking about is just bad habits, not
Dude,
necessarily.
her time management sucks.
Well, those could be just bad habits.
But the character defect behind that is selfishness.
Right. And that's where, but what you, and when you say, why don't we just reshape them? I don't think you can reshape selfishness, you know, but on the other end of that, I was always confused I could not start fully recovering until I learned to forgive myself, until I was able to start loving myself. That's a big difference between being selfish and learning to love yourself. But that was the big thing to me. So being selfish is a character flaw. Loving yourself is not.
And why I struggled with that is because, like my daughter just said, I don't want you to be proud of me just because I'm your daughter or because the cops never got called. I want to earn it by doing these good things. For me, I couldn't love myself until I started I'm sponsoring a young man now. I'm helping. Now I'm doing something worthwhile. Now I'm doing something lovable. I had to become lovable. I thought, which is bullshit.
Right.
God didn't wait for me to start doing a bunch of good stuff before he loved me. He didn't have to start waiting for me to do, God doesn't think anything more of me. If I go help the old lady carry her groceries, God doesn't love me any more when I do that, or any less if I don't. He loves me, period. Without question.
I'm going to go back to Robism, but if your motive is correct.
Motive is everything.
Right. If your motive's correct.
Motive is it. Well, that's what but God still loves me. He loves me wholeheartedly. I mean, unconditionally. That doesn't mean he approves of everything. Just like a parent. Don't you love your daughter? Unconditionally. Doesn't mean you approve of everything she does, every decision they make, but you love them unconditionally.
Unless your motive is if when that lady kicks over that you're in her will.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm only going to help her if I get put in her will. You know what, Emily? I'm coming back to that because that's what you said is very, very got my brain thinking, what character defects, if we reshape them, what does it look like? That to me, are we rationalizing, justifying, and minimizing?
The one I'm talking about, I could sell ice to an Eskimo. In my addiction, I could,
Oh, for sure.
I could get what I want from anybody. I could get what I want from anybody, and you would like it. And I mean, even if I could sell you this ice, even if you had a backyard full of it, you're going to love mine, and you're going to want it.
Tastes different.
So now, so that bullshit, lying, manipulating personality trait, that's how I gain. God uses that ability for me to gain their confidence, to gain their trust. The same thing. I just don't do it deceivingly.
Right.
It's all honest and upfront, but it's the same character trait. Pretty persuasive. It's kind of bullshit salesman-ish, but better.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's how he remolded that one.
Self-acceptance. Accepting yourself is not excusing behavior, lowering standards, giving up. Accepting yourself is being honest, living in reality, letting God begin where you actually are. Mm-hmm. Letting God begin to where you're actually standing and not saying, I got to get better before I go before God.
Well, that's what a lot of people try to do.
Yes, there's so many people.
I got to fix myself up before I go get well, before I go to the Lord. And that's not what he says.
He wants you just the way you are.
Come warts and all.
Right. So that is to me is where I have let myself accept who I am recently more and more each day. And that was a huge hurdle for me to get over. It was. And I didn't really, I said it out loud yesterday, but I figured it out, once again, 9 months of struggling with back surgeries and blah, 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 mentally just beat me down to where my spiritual walk was dead. Everything about me was dead, blah, 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 blah. And I was hating myself again. I found myself in that same hole. I'm just that miserable piece of shit that I was before, blah, 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 blah. And I caught myself saying that.
Woe is me.
Woe is me. And I had to learn to love myself exactly where I was at, right? And each day has gotten better. Practical tools, tell yourself the truth, where I am. Where am I pretending? Where am I avoiding? What do I already know is true? God cannot transform the person I am pretending to be. So be true to thyself.
To thine own self be true.
That's what that is there. That was one of the first things I learned very early on in recovery was that I had to be completely honest with myself that I was an alcoholic. I would say it all the time.
Or I'm a procrastinator, or I'm a liar, or I'm
All of
whatever. Because
All
the
of
first
it.
person I'll lie to
Right.
is me. And then once I'm thoroughly convinced, I'll convince the rest of you. And then I'll be lying to the rest of you. And that gets no one anywhere, whether it's alcoholism or anything else. Anytime I'm going to justify, rationalize, or minimize the decision I'm trying to make, I'm trying to make it okay in my mind. That's when I've finally learned, and I've had to teach myself that stop. Why are you trying to, what are you trying to get out of this?
Yep.
I mean, what vicarious pleasure, or why are you doing this? Why do you have to lie to yourself about it? And you better go do something else. Make a different decision.
True fact. Practical tool number 2, separate your identity from your behavior. Instead of saying I am a failure, say I failed. Your mistakes are not your identity.
There's guilt and shame.
Yep.
Guilt says I did wrong, or I did bad. Shame says I am bad.
Yep.
And that's where we got to get those two.
Practical tool number 3, stop comparing. Comparison steals peace. Ask instead, am I closer to God than I was yesterday? Recovery is not a competition.
Or am I closer to a goal? Talk to me about that. Because you're in the theater, and now you went to college, you're doing this, and let's be honest. I don't want to say you were a big fish in a small pond, because you weren't, but you were the best fish. And you didn't have a lot of people. You were the one that they would strive to be, because you were the best dancer, you were the best performer,
Well,
that's not just dad being dad.
I know where he's going.
Compare, because she's really hard on, like me.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, she's hard on herself.
Say that again.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Wow. Okay.
That is not an Emilyism. That's
No.
something I've heard out in the world.
No, don't steal that. Own that. Yeah, the small fish. These kids, these athletes that would come out of this D5 school, they would go into a D1 or D2 college, and they would realize, holy shit, I'm below average. And that's that reckoning of going from being a D5 into that D1. And it's not really a D1. It's just a bigger pool. There's bigger pool of a lot of talented athletes. And being true to yourself is, I'm just as good as these people
But she's
are.
finally getting to that. Because when we had this little talk, the talk that I fucked up on the first 10 minutes of.
I'm very curious about that.
No, anyway.
More than 10 minutes.
Well, 15.
I didn't do everything perfect either. I know that. But if we can joke about it, we can joke about it.
Oh, fuck, that's all we do.
Did you ask him, did he own his part in it?
Oh, yeah, he did. There was a part in the conversation. I was like, I've struggled asking for help my entire life. I was like, if I can't do it for myself, why am I even doing it? But I was like, so in learning, there was a point in the conversation where I was like, I'm really overstimulated. I'm really overwhelmed. I need to take a break. And I took a break. And in that break, you and Mom had a little back and forth.
Well, that's when Bonnie came and said, hey, honey.
You done fucked the bed.
No, I'm trying to put myself in her position. And here's 3 points you just beat the shit out of. And that's your daughter. I mean, you're not talking to you talk to sponsees better than this. And she was right.
And to be clear, it wasn't that the things you weren't saying weren't true, but it's
the way I said them.
It's intention versus impact.
Oh yeah.
I understand your intention, but that was not the impact you were having or anticipated.
No.
And sometimes, something you say that I've kind of been I've been thinking about, and I don't think I disagree with it. I think I just understand it a different way. Something you used to say is no one can make you feel a certain way. You control your feelings, but it's not necessarily it's how you react to that. It's like you can make me.
Yeah, your mom would say that's bullshit, because when I tell her, I can't make you feel a certain way. Rob, shut the fuck up. Yes, you can.
And she's
right.
right.
And they're right if you allow me to.
Mm-hmm.
But
go ahead.
here's the thing. You also have to understand. Sorry, from my perspective, you're my father, and something that we haven't even got the chance to talk about is something that I'm going through right now. Is I have idolized you for a lot of my life, and that's no good. That is because it doesn't help you and it doesn't help me.
No, because I'll let you down.
And it's because we at the end of the day, you're a person and a man first, and then my father. We're all doing life for the first time.
Yes.
So it's
and fatherhood.
Yeah, and so sometimes it's like you trying it's like sometimes stuff is gonna, because of who you are, it's gonna hurt a little bit more because I
realized that what I was doing to my daughter was not getting a point across. All I did was hurt her. by saying shit that way, trying to be more impactful. It was just bullshit. And they just.
But let me go from an outside perspective. We're going off a topic, but I'm perfectly fine right where we're at. But let me go a little further. Your conversation with her had been building.
Yes.
Because we had heard about it.
And if I'm being honest, I knew it was building on my end because I know I had to talk to my parents at some point, and I knew they were feeling a type of way, and I knew I was feeling a type of way. There was build up on both sides,
and that's not good either.
No,
because that brought tension into the house, and then when it came, it was just, and I shattered it.
Right.
By when I know I should be better, I know I could do better.
You had resentment.
I fucked up.
You had resentment.
But I should have had this conversation should have happened in piecemeal along the way.
Because you
kept... But I kept, well, she's doing this right now. She's got a play going on right now and she's driving on the road. And I know my daughter, she's emotional. She carries shit like I do. I don't want her driving with this. Or I don't want, so let's just wait. And me and Bonnie were talking, let's wait till this part. Let's just wait. And waiting is not going.
Can I cut in real fast? And I was doing the same thing. Like I had unleashed so much bad about school in the first semester that I was like, well, I cannot do that again. I cannot talk to them about it. So I had a lot of amazing things happen the second semester and I just didn't tell them anything. Mind you, I was like, most of the time when I was going to Wizard Walls and doing that stuff, Judge was driving. So I was like, I can't drive. I'm just going to let him do that. I'm just going to let him. And I wasn't telling them anything. So there was issues like that on my side as well. I wasn't being communicative just like you guys weren't being communicative.
And that's not us. That's not our family.
No,
it backfired.
Yeah.
And being the head of the family.
Well, it's definitely not you.
No, but being the head of the family, it's my fault that happened.
But that's my point. That's what was shocking me. We're way off topic, but this is completely
okay.
This is completely okay. What was shocking me, and I never really said anything, is how much you were talking about it, and I could see how much it was bothering you. And you just kept talking about it. I'm like, why does Rob keep bringing this up? I honestly almost said something to you at one point. It's like, dude, when are you going to deal with this and stop beating around the bush?
Well, and again, I don't want to blame my wife because it's my responsibility.
Absolutely.
I'm the head. And she would say that. But she would, hey, Rob, let's just wait till she's doing this. You know your daughter. Let's not give her head, put more stuff in her because she's emotional. Let's just wait. Let's just wait. And so I did. When I knew better, because waiting is never, I shouldn't say never, rarely, especially in our family, is waiting a positive thing. Strike while the iron is hot, while it's fresh, get it down, get it started, if nothing else. And I didn't do that. I went against all of my advice that I would give. I went against all of it, and it fucking cost me.
Yeah.
And
it cost my daughter.
And almost kind of like piggybacking what you were saying, I think this is almost like a perfect story because this is a real life story that is happening in our lives at the moment that revolves around acceptance.
Yes.
Because throughout this, I said, I've been struggling for a long time. I was like, I don't know how to have a relationship with my dad where I don't idolize him. And I don't know how to talk to him. And I don't know how to be authentically myself with this new understanding of him. Something I wrote down like a while ago is, inauthenticity is inherently deceptive. Just because I wasn't telling a lie, I wasn't saying anything that wasn't untrue, but I was withholding.
You were omitting.
I was withholding the way I feel about things and the way I was being made to feel and things that were going on.
And you weren't being true to yourself. And neither was I.
I was like, neither of us. And that's because we were talking accepting who we are and being authentic and not accepting who I am. I wasn't able to, we weren't able to have the relationship that we usually do. And we weren't able to come together as a family as we usually had. And I think some of that comes from being an adult and I'm changing as a person. And I think even when I'm very confident in who I am right now. And I know that is going to change, but even you have to sit with yourself even when you don't know who you are, because that's how you figure it out. And you have to be as authentically as who you think you are in that moment. And I just wasn't.
How much outside influence do you think was contributed to a lot of that feelings? I mean, you're getting way more outside influence than you ever had in your life.
And at TBH, it was...
To be honest.
Oh, yeah, sorry. to be honest. And because if I'm being honest, none of them... Those people accepted me for who I was.
Oh, and of course they
did. Nobody was telling me anything.
No, my point is...
Because I was like, sorry. Sorry, what were you saying?
No. Go ahead.
Because I think it was just a lot of it just being by myself and having time with myself. Because I'm a workaholic. I love to work so I don't have to think because I overthink.
And don't have to face
But
things.
do you think, too, that where you're at in your life and this college experience, living away from home for the first time, don't you also think it's you evolving?
Oh, absolutely.
That's my point.
I got you.
But here's what, because of and again, I got to take full responsibility. I mean, I can't take full responsibility because we're all adults. We're all our own lives. However, the first half of college for her was she went away, not was she local.
No.
She would come home on Thursday evening. She was paying for.
We all heard about this.
But nobody else has.
I've heard about this. I've lived it.
But no one else has.
Right.
And then she would leave she was just miserable down there. And then she would leave Tuesday night. And there's more than one time, like, honey, I want you to stay home. I don't want you driving with this. You're just tears and crying. She was, Dad, if I don't leave now, I'll never leave. And now that I understood. You got to, because I don't want you, we don't make a decision based on what?
Right. Fear.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay,
So
this is kind of a good point to make, especially at this time of the year. You are getting ready to go back to school as well, but you're going as a 24-year-old woman.
Yeah.
There's parents that are sending their 18-year-olds.
Right.
This is why they fail. This is why they don't do well, or they, have worse problems, or drink too much, or get into other substances that they shouldn't be. But this is, impressionable. They're kids. They're still babies.
That was the point I was trying to get to. Is you went from you COVID and you graduated from home or graduated from Rayleigh's, and so you were sheltered, and then this is your first really run out into the world.
I did junior college. I did the JC transfer thing. And I did just because the way.
But let's face it, when you go to JC, it's basically high school, the same people you went to high school with.
And I did most of it online.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even there.
She was working.
Right.
I think I had one class in person.
You had a lot of other outside influences that are retraining your brain, and now you're getting, well, maybe this is the wrong way to, I don't know. Maybe I'm going down the wrong road. But anyways, your perspective in life was changing.
But what Dad saw, then the second half of this last year, she got a boyfriend, who I like, which is awesome. That was one of my things with her. I did not see the introspection. I did not see all the work she was doing on herself. I just saw, okay, now you're staying down. Now we never see you because you got a boyfriend. And she's telling Dad, hey, I found my stride. I finally found my stride. I said, no, you didn't. You found a fucking boyfriend is what you found. I didn't see the rest of her actually doing work on her.
And because I didn't show that, I communicated that. After our conversation, I told my boyfriend that. He laughed. He laughed because he thought that was absolutely absurd because he was in the nitty-gritty with me and saw what I was doing. And
Dad didn't.
Dad didn't. And kind of something we were talking about a little bit earlier on a different episode when you were like artistic people think a little bit differently. I was doing so many things I was proud of, but not necessarily showing them because I was like, oh, they're not going to be proud of it the same way I am, and I don't want to face that disappointment.
Why on earth would you take that joy away from them, though?
Because I didn't.
Because of fear. She was afraid we were not going to see it the way she did, and we wouldn't.
Yeah,
that's all.
That would be upsetting to me.
I was at.
So there's a lot of dynamics in this family. The way we've always handled it, that we just dropped the ball. I dropped the ball huge, and my daughter did too. Not trusting that we would. So we learn, but we're family, and we don't. It doesn't destroy us. It just makes us stronger. Now we don't. That won't hamper us again. There may be something else later on, but this won't. And then we realized where the mistakes were. But I got to take the lead on that.
That can really be any family. I mean, there's so many variables that are happening. Kids at home, so kids that aren't living at home, you're at school, or in our case, our oldest daughter, she was out and she had a little boy, so we were trying to balance that where we wanted to have time with our grandson, but still let them be independent young adults, trying to forge on their own. And Miranda was working very hard, but you've got Logan, who's always at work, not around his mom, and she adores him, so that's a loss for her too.
And she would cry.
All of these different everything's it's not balanced anymore where you could when your kids are little, you have balance of everything because you're controlling everything.
Right.
And then you don't have the balance. And then you guys are all trying to figure out where you stand. And it's hard. It's super hard. But when you have also an alcoholic in the home or, you know, kids that are going through
Or a wife going
turmoil.
through menopause.
Yeah. God bless us.
Yeah. Well,
You
because
know, I mean, there's all of those things that we have to manage, and things aren't as normal as they are. But then you also have an adult child who has a voice of her own.
Mhm.
It's tough.
it's tough. And I was dealing with Bonnie struggled with. She was home when Emily was paying for school down there, paying for to live down there, but she's always home. Which Bonnie was like, I would hear this, but she loved it because her daughter was. I know my daughter. I know where she's at. She's with me. And then when she found her, she hit her stride. Well, we just saw a boyfriend. You know, that's where she's down there.
You didn't see that she was being successful.
And then I'd see my wife crying because she missed her daughter. I mean,
Why do you think the communication broke down?
it just did, but because fear. I was just
Fear on
waiting.
both parts, it
I was
sounds like.
waiting for. Well, I was allowing, and I don't want to blame her because it's me. My wife. I was waiting. My wife just wait till she gets to this point, then then the talk will, or then let's not put more into her right now because we're afraid she'll make a bad decision if she's got her head full of what we're getting ready to talk about. She was afraid that we'd be disappointed in. So it was just fear, really.
Fear on both parts.
Waiting for this perfect moment that was never going to come. Just
Never.
have it.
Right.
Have the talk when it needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And
What, sorry, because I was gonna say like what, for example, like what I was doing at school is because a lot of the things you talk about are like my wants versus the needs and stuff like that, and I love performing.
what I saw as your wants
Yes.
versus what I think your needs
Yes,
should have been.
Thank you. And so because I did all my GE classes at MJC, all I had were major requirements left. And basically all the finals for those classes are performances because it's a performance-based class. So like a lot of stuff they didn't see was I was holding outside for rehearsals for people who couldn't read music because we had a really strict director, and I'm over here teaching people their music parts, and I'm directing, and I became a leader in the program. I in a different class, there's a professor I have a relationship. His name is Eric Cooper. He's a wonderful individual, and he was like, I have an outreach team, and I love the passion you have, and I love the way you lead, and I want you to be a part of it. And I made an entire movie at school, but because all of this was creative work, I didn't feel like you guys were going to see it as work because it's creative. Because
she didn't give us the benefit of the doubt of what we would see, and it was. Hey, this is just a learning lesson for this family, which was awesome.
And you know what? When you take a family that is as tight as we're tight, the four of us, me, Katie, McKenna, and Miranda, we're tight.
The Fab Four,
The core four.
Core Four.
And I mean, we don't. There's very little about me that they don't know, and there's very little about the girls that we're very close. And when my girls call me with their accomplishments, this is like the highlight of my day. So twofold: call your dad on every accomplishment that you feel. Whether he responds, that's his problem. You keep telling him your accomplishments. It's no different than me holding out in a meeting, in an AA meeting, when I hold back and don't share my problems. I'm being selfish because there may be somebody else that needs to hear what I have to say. Your dad may be having the shittiest day in his life, but he gets a call from his baby girl says, I just created a movie and helped these two people out. It may brighten his day.
Because I think that is that's something I haven't showed you. So maybe we should watch the movie. But something not only like was I proud that like me and my boyfriend we built this like 45 because it was instead of doing like a traditional thesis, we had a creative thesis because we're in a creative field, and I'm the thing that people. I was so stressed for people coming on the project. So I was like, who wants to help me with a movie about me and my college journey? And something that I created for other people was another opportunity to get things I'd never done. People get to act on camera, and they were working behind the scenes, and they were helping me film things. And I got to do I did a premiere at the school, and they were like, anytime you do something like that, please call me. This was my favorite project of the entire semester. And I was like, you mean over our play, over our dance show? Yes, you made it so fun. And I was like, just getting to give other people an opportunity is what made me so proud.
Rob, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you called and told Emily about one of your accomplishments?
Never.
Phone goes both ways, brother.
No, absolutely. Yeah. But I don't see them as accomplishments because that's just what I do.
And
I know, and that's where we're
it's
like.
It's almost like we're a mirror of each other right now.
Yeah. But the one thing that The one thing that disappoints me the most about me, disappoints me about me and my wife, we didn't trust our parenting. We raised our kids the same, in the same house, the same, they're different kids. But I sent her off, and I didn't trust God. I didn't trust my parenting that she was going to make right decisions. And she did, despite me, for her. Just because they're not the decisions I would have made.
Right.
She was the one in the fire. It's her life. And she did it.
That goes back
and I didn't trust God. I didn't trust my own parenting that instilled honesty, hard work, determination, all the stuff I see in her anyway. I got to let go. And it's tough.
But Larry was definitely raised different than I was. Bonnie was raised different than your dad was. So you guys, just like Larry and I, we did the best that we could. It was also a different era. We were trying to raise our kids different than what we were raised. Right. And knowing now, I see my grandkids getting raised completely different in some ways than what my daughter was raised. But we all evolve into our own people. We take things from everyone. I mean, you took things from Jay. You took things from Chris. Your sponsors, the men in your life, the men in the rooms. You took things from everybody to grow you into the man that you are. Same with Larry. His bosses, people who have managed him over the years, he's taken so much. And I'm so thankful because he didn't have a ton of direction given when he was younger. One of the best men in his life just passed away. And I thank him for building him into the man that he was, showing him how to be a hard worker. Because even though his dad was always a worker, there was not a question. But this man, from the time he was little, raised him up to be the person that he needed to be. So I think we take something from everyone in our life, whether it's a little bit or a lot. So you're just finding your stride. You're finding the people that you want to take information from, and that's okay too. You're growing.
And you have to accept that she's getting information. She's
somewhere else. Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that's a hard one for us as fathers to go, no, you can't give my daughter advice. Don't do that. I work really hard at not giving advice to when I was coaching. I tried extremely hard not to give advice to the younger men unless they asked for it. Right. I mean, the kid that came over and helped me wash my motorhome the other day, his dad's right here. And I was watching him, the way he was doing stuff. It was like, I wanted to teach him a different way, but that's not my kid. I'm very cautious about that. Now, whether I should have done it or not, I don't know, because the way he was doing it was completely wrong. But I was very cautious that I didn't want to. I mean, it's a 14-year-old boy. He still has a dad that probably wants to teach him that lesson.
I hope.
So, right. But that's my point. Yeah. I'm very cautious about that.
But unless asked, it's funny when I listen to sponsees of mine talk. I've done this since day one. You'll hear, well, my sponsor told me, or my sponsor told. I've never told any of you anything. Right. I'll make suggestions. If you ask my opinion, I'll give it to you on a certain topic, or I will tell you what A, B, and C man in your position went through, and there's the decisions they made, and here's their outcome, to give you all the information, because you're the one that has to deal with the repercussions of your decision. So I've never told anybody, I've never said that.
And it goes back to what I said earlier about our kids. We can't pull their ripcord as they're falling.
No, and we've done that quite a bit. My wife has done that quite a bit growing up. Ain't got to be my daughter going to school looking like, so she would make sure her, instead, no, let them go.
And mind you, and that's the thing too, because I don't want my kid going to school. I loved my old worn out shoes. I hated the way new shoes felt to me, because I couldn't get them the same amount of tightness. So it's these shoes are already the perfect amount of tightness. So it's
but my school kid go to school looking like that.
That's Katie right there.
But who are we doing it for?
For ourselves.
Not to benefit the kid. It was because you care about what people think and what the other mothers are going to think. And I was telling my wife, and she goes, I don't give a fuck. She ain't going.
And now you get to deal with a kid in a bad mood who won't put her shoes on because she can't tie them the same amount of tightness because you got rid of the old shoes. So it's you pick your poison.
so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny that you say that, and Larry's teasing because I was very particular about how our girls looked. I mean, they were always prepared for school. They were never the kids with a mismatched anything.
Oh, yeah.
I would always tell them, no, go back upstairs or go change. I was very particular about that kind of stuff. But let me tell you, my girls are always put together, always. And my girls are both very successful. Now, I will say there are family members that let their kids express themselves or maybe just didn't care. I'm not going to judge either way, but they're also not successful adults.
Oh, my daughter's very put together. She's going to have, before she leaves, I get to, Dad, how's the fit? How's the fit, you know?
But, and if I can point out, almost like the balance between both, because I loved Punky Brewster. I was like, Mom, I need to wear 2 different colored shoes. I need to. But just because it's like, it was that.
You look like her, too.
Well, but let me be
express yourself
but
in
let
a
me be
way
me.
that's okay.
Exactly,
But there's
yeah.
also times where you need to be not in line, but you have to look a specific way or people aren't going to take you seriously.
And it's finding that balance, yeah.
And that goes all the way back because you accepted yourself exactly the way you looked. You didn't care what people thought about you.
Oh, no.
But wait, there's,
She wanted
what's
to
the
be
Rob,
an individual, and that's okay too.
what's the Robism? Clothes don't.
Clothes don't make the man.
I wear the clothes, they don't wear me. I can look good. I'll make a gunny sack look good, baby.
There's a
Of course.
There's a picture of me.
And so,
as a kid.
that's what I said for her. Because she didn't, girls growing up would love that hair. They spend a lot of money for that hair. They spend a lot of money to look like you. And you genetically, you just got it. So go out there and give it.
And
She's so lucky.
And kind of going.
It's Bonnie's good genes.
Yeah.
We love you, Mom. And almost like going back to the acceptance part, though. But that's something I had to accept about myself. Because in junior high, I straightened my hair every day.
Of course you
was-
did.
straightened
You
it.
didn't want the curly hair.
Every day.
So did McKenna. Rob, what was the hardest thing you had to accept about yourself after you got sober?
That I'm enough. I'm good enough.
Yeah,
As I am, I'm good enough. I'm good enough for God. I'm good enough for myself. Not everybody
How
else.
long did it take you?
4 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Guess
4
where I'm at.
Yeah.
Did acceptance bring you peace? Or did you have it before?
Except that I'm good enough. Yes, it brought me peace in not overall peace, but in a certain area where I needed it. Yes.
Was acceptance ever an excuse for something?
No. Well, no, because I can't. That's justify and rationalize and minimize. And if you
Right.
to be okay with somebody, well, I'm human, so it's okay to fuck up. No, it ain't. No, it's not an excuse.
What changed when you finally surrendered it all? What did you feel the most?
Freedom. To be, I didn't have to wear a mask for anybody, no matter what group I was in. This is who I am, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Were you like that when you were sober, or when you were drinking?
No, I had a mask for every group I was with.
Right. You know, that's the key thing for us is that we were chameleons. For me as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I could fit into whatever group I wanted, even though I wasn't comfortable where I was at. I would fit.
I was never comfortable in my own skin.
Ever was I comfortable. Well, so that's basically where I wanted to go. I mean, acceptance removes resistance. God brings transformation. God is the answer. Acceptance is the one tool that allows Him to work.
But like
right?
you too, your grit, your hard nose,
right?
What built you, put you in those positions of leadership, success. If I give these to God, what's He going to do with them? Am I going to recognize myself? All these things that I liked, the things that I started to. That I thought were good, that I thought were, but do I trust? It just boils down to trust, faith. Do I trust Him to take these, and who am I going to be when He's done?
And I've caught myself, and that was a little bit, and I have never said this out loud, so here it goes. When I left my previous job when I first got sober, I left there and I gave up that big boss man position, that general manager, that really only answered to the owners. I gave that up, and I went back in. And I just went as sales. I got rid of all that ego that was left because God had a lot of work to do with me. And He did. He relieved me of a lot of the ego, a lot of that controlling, a lot of that. So as when He relieved me of that and I started to grow a little bit, and then here comes God offering me a position to go back into that position of leadership, because that's where, honestly, and I'm very confident about this, God wants me in a leadership position. I have no problem saying that. So he came to me and he put me back into a leadership position. And then what happened, and I felt it, is I started grabbing some of those old behaviors of, I'll do that. I got that. I got this. I got this. I got that. And before I know it, my day is consumed with shit that I shouldn't be touching. And all of a sudden I'm in a position now where I'm like, I don't have time for myself. I don't have time to think. I don't have time to do shit because I'm doing everything else. So what did I start doing? I started relieving myself a lot of that stuff. Started turning it back over to people that, delegating it back out, because all I was doing is bringing it in to prove that I could do it, that I could do all this shit. I can do all this shit. My boss has told me so many times, Larry, I hired you for what you know, not what you can do. Stop doing so damn much. I want you to use your brain more. And he told me this just again on Friday. Stop drinking from the water. Stop drinking from the fire hydrant is what he told me.
That's good. Well, I like that.
I mean, it's what he said. You're taking everything. Stop. Get other people to do that.
Delegate that shit. She's good at delegating.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's relieved me a little bit of that, to get back to that acceptance of where originally what I'm supposed to be and where I'm supposed to be. Yes.
I mean, a person in leadership needs to be a shepherd, not a cowboy. And shepherds lead, cowboys drive.
You know what? And it goes back to that thing that I've said, though, is it's hard for me to lead without proving that I can do it.
I'm the same way. I get you.
I've already proven it, though. I've already proven it time and time and time again that I can do it. I don't know why I feel like I got to continue to prove it.
Pride and ego.
I got to do it. But that is one thing, and I always feel like I have a new audience. So that's where they
haven't seen the Larry Show. By God, I'm about to show you, fucker, so you know.
Well, and that's the true fact, Rob. I mean, where I should just be letting my, and it's not just me. I know other people struggle through the same thing, as we take on and we take on and we take on and we take on. Before we know it, we're overwhelmed with shit, and we're not producing. We can't open a flower with a sledgehammer. We got to let it out. We let
God do it. Let the sun do its work.
Right. So, this is another reason why my topic from last week and my topic from this one is all kind of wraps it back around to that. I just have to accept where things are at. And hopefully these last two topics have helped somebody just kind of, be easier on yourself.
Rule 62.
Yes.
Don't take yourself so damn seriously.
Fucking relax. Don't take life so damn serious.
Enjoy.
We went up camping last weekend, and I had him. I enjoyed being around the family, but I didn't enjoy myself because I was constantly worried about this and that, and I had a lot going on at work, and I gave up. I literally gave away 3 beautiful days because I was worried and had fear over stupid shit that was completely out of my control and completely and it's been bothering me ever since. And what have I been trying to do, Katie, ever since then? I've been trying to, we need to get back out and do that again. I want to take the family back.
And go enjoy.
I owe the family a different trip because I stole your weekend. Because you guys may have had fun, but I was miserable. And that only could have
made it better.
Yes, right. Anyway.
But miserable because it comes back to control.
Yes.
He's still trying to control those things that 100%. He can't negotiate on some of those things. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. So as far as time with our family, it was good. Right. We had a good time. It
was great.
But there were so many other things that he was worried about. Right. So, but
I didn't go down fishing. I
do want to say something. There's really not a timeline for what you guys go through. Rob, you said it was 4 years, and here's Larry at 4 years now in that same position where he's just trying to accept not his sobriety, because he's accepted that, but I think he's trying to accept the person that he is. We went to 100%. This beautiful wedding. We went all the way to Louisiana for this wedding, and I still feel that he's uncomfortable in his own skin in situations like that. So I know that it will get better, and not that I try and be more understanding of it, but it's just, I want him to be able to let go and embrace things a little bit more.
It's just hard when you're sitting. It's not that I'm not a dancer. Obviously when I was drinking, I was dancing. And when the party started, I'm like, it's just hard for me to fit into that. I look for somebody to sit in the corner and bullshit with. That's me, but that's who I am. Trust me, I can get a lot of fun out of a good conversation. A lot of fun out of a good conversation. But anyways,
So there's something I want my daughter to know. Now, because her and I have something, her mother will never go to, because Emily's performed at the Gala Center. She performs, Stockton Civic Theater. We go to gala shows and stuff. I don't enjoy, but it's just her and I. Her mom will go, she thinks I do. Because, Dad, did you love that? Loved it. There's only one show.
Because she was in it.
But no, the ones that we would go see about that.
Oh,
Larry buys, the other Larry buys tickets, or I'd buy tickets to something. There's one show that I love, though. What show was that?
It's The Choir Man.
Love that show. The other times I go, because that's something that's just her and I. I love that. She loves it. Like when we go listen to a beautiful sound or a beautiful noise.
A beautiful noise.
Those things. Did you love it, Dad? Yes. I love that she loves it, and I love that that's something that we've got. The only show that I liked was Choir of Man. But the fact that that's something that her and I have, that's what I love. Not necessarily the performances. I love being with her, and I love that she loves it.
It's fun to see the joy in not only another person's eyes, but in the ones you love the most, to see their joy. We couldn't see that when we were drinking. If we were still drinking, there's no way we could have shared that.
You'd sit there and be miserable, but I just sit there and she explains what's going on, and she enjoys to do that. And then whoever's around her, she'll explain it to them.
It's fun.
I just enjoy that she does it. Without her, I would never be there because it's not, except for the one. The Choir of Man, no matter what, anytime it comes, I'm going.
Why is that one different?
It's set in an Irish bar.
There we go.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Go ahead.
I was like, I'll kind of explain why I think.
So if you never get to, whoever listen, if the Choir of Man ever comes to your theater, wherever you're in, go fucking watch it.
It's because it feels real. There's still actors playing characters.
You can get beer too. They hand out beers.
The setting is an Irish pub, and it's set there because it originated on the West End, and pub culture is huge there. It's not like bar culture here. It's like you go there, you meet your friends, you meet your family. And that's what the story is. It's a story about all these people who come to, you think you're seeing real people, because they use the actual actors' names. Like if you're casted as the tap dancer, you're casted as the dancer, and then they use your name for the show.
That's funny.
And you're getting to see what feels like real bonds and real stories and learning about these people's lives. And
it's fun.
It's a real
Choir of Man.
Choir of Man. Yeah, it's an amazing show, and I'll watch it. I'll travel to go see that.
And funny enough, it's kind of a show where the message is just acceptance and loving who you are in your community. Everyone.
But they do run it. They run and pass out. The first time we went,
they make you feel a part of the community.
They put beers on sticks, like the holes, and they pass.
Oh, really?
She was 20 at the time. I go grab one.
I was like, dang it.
She says, I'm not 21, Dad. So yeah, but it's amazing. And the first one, I can get this.
That's
I
fun.
get it.
Emily, you're amazing.
Yes, you
guys are amazing.
I'm so. It's been a joy to meet you. Like I said, I've heard your dad talk about you a million times, good and bad. I've been on both.
There's plenty of.
I've been on both ends. I mean, he's
not good and bad, but just.
That's not bad. He's vented. I mean, hell, he's heard me vent about my daughters. Yeah. So, and I mean, they're grown and gone. So. Yeah, but it's fun to finally meet you because I've heard you and your mother talk about you all the time.
So now you see the differences because
Oh, God, yeah. The difference between you and Logan is night and day.
Oh, I was like, something they have said growing up time and time again, you guys are just two different kids.
It's two different, absolutely different. But
you come from the same household.
But you guys having two different daughters, I know you both can.
Well,
you guys can understand this.
Their personalities,
for sure. Absolutely.
But their personalities, Miranda and McKenna's personalities, if they're sitting next to each other, are identical. If they're in a crowd, they're like bosom buddies, and I mean, even if they're individually, they're both very outgoing people, very, very outgoing people. So their personalities, how they react, is different. Their personalities on the outside are the same. They're both very extroverts. Yeah, they're very much out. They'll talk to a telephone pole. They don't care.
That's Emily.
They get that from their dad.
Yeah, that's me. All right, they're very, very out there.
I was never like that until
I love talking to people
as I got older.
I love talking to people.
That's my sister.
Yeah.
I was like, I opened up our last episode. Hey, what does your tattoo mean, by the way?
Yeah, I love learning new things about people. That's what that's what I love about this podcast, is inviting new people.
I didn't start this shit till I got sober. Was I comfortable with wherever I'm at with anybody, and I could be like this?
Yeah, it's fun. All right, we're out of here.
We're going to get tight Chinese food, so
go to Houston.
Nice.
We're going.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Recovery Unfiltered podcast. If you'd like to reach out to us, please email us at recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com.